Many people agree that the past should be forgotten, and we should focus on the present and the future. However, it's easier said than done. Some traumatic and hurtful situations are not easy to let go because of their unprecedented nature. Many times we think about what could have been, and hot tears just roll down the cheek. Sometimes it can be because of the loss of a significant other. You've been looking forward to building a future together with the person. She was the woman of your dreams. You have been waiting to have someone like her in your life. Eventually, you found her, and you were already planning forever with her. Then, out of nowhere, she was involved in this ghastly accident that took her away from you. Now you are wondering how life could have been so cruel. You feel unlucky and depressed. The depression and dejection have made it hard for you to give any other person a chance to win your heart. Indeed, a story such as this is tragic. If it were a Hollywood movie, you could have been shedding tears by now. We all have things like this in our life. Of course, the intensity and situation are not the same. Nonetheless, we all need healing. We all need to let go of the past and focus on the present while looking forward to the future. This video course will equip you with the tools you need on this new journey. In this video, we'll discover about the past. It's gone forever. In the words of Chuck Palahniuk, your past is just a story, and once you realize this, it has no power over you. These words were spoken some years ago. However, they are still as potent and relevant as the first time they were spoken. If only many people realized this simple but extremely powerful truth, life would have been easier for them. We would have had more individuals that are less cranky and frustrated in the world. Some people struggle to overcome their past demons. For instance, bad experience from their past relationships often hinder them from building robust and happy relationships in the future. They build a mental wall and find it difficult to trust another person or commit into another relationship. Letting past experiences interfere with our future is detrimental to our growth and mental well-being. This chapter will explore some vital things about the past you need to know. Life is a journey. This statement might sound like a cliche, but it's not. You have to realize that life is a journey. In fact, it is an experience we are all having for the first and last time. In other words, no one has been to this world before that is now having another opportunity to live it all over again. Indeed, there are people who are experienced in this world. However, their experiences are all parts of their journey in life. Life is a progressive journey that begins at conception and ends in death. It is like a movie. However, this movie is your story. You are supposed to play the roles of both a director and an actor in this movie. Playing the role of a director implies that you are in charge of your life. You make plans and set goals that give your life a direction and sense of purpose. When you are a director in the story of your life, you will take responsibility for your life. You will not blame others for your predicament. Besides, you will not believe that your success and happiness depends on external factors, including the actions of others. Psychologists refer to this mindset as an internal locus of control. No one will give you the role of a director in your life. You can choose to take it or give it to other factors, including your past. Unfortunately, many people have allowed their past mistakes to dictate their current state. The role of an actor in the story of your life is not optional. You will play that part whether you like it or not. Even your inactions are still part of acting in that position. In summary, everyone is an actor, but not everyone is a director in the movie of their lives. Your journey in life does not end until the day you have your last breath. Therefore, you can choose to make the earlier part of the journey, your past, the summary of your story, or you can choose to rewrite the script. As long as you are still alive, you still have the right and opportunity to edit the script of your story. You can still come out on the other side with pride, regardless of what your past looks like. The past is an experience. Life is an experience that is bitter sometimes and pleasant on some occasions. One of the reasons some people find it difficult to let go of the past and start over is that they don't expect life to be cruel and unpleasant. Well, you have been educated wrongly. Life is like a coin with two sides. There are days when you'll experience so much happiness and have reasons to smile. However, there will also be days when you don't want to talk to anyone because you are sad. We all wish to have things go our way all the time. Nonetheless, life has other plans. For some people, they will have many pleasant events occurring in their lives in the early parts of it, but start experiencing the other side of life in the later period. However, some people have a lot of challenges earlier in life, but have better experiences later. This pattern does not mean that you don't have control over the events that occur in your life. Your actions and inactions are what produce some situations you experience. However, there are events in your life you cannot control. However, you need to see every situation as an experience. In other words, you have to treat the events occurring in your life as a learning curve. There are cases when something bad happens to you because of your mistake. However, there are times it is because of the negligence or wickedness of others. Regardless of the source of your frustration, you must take it as an opportunity to learn something new. When you don't see life as a learning curve, you will keep nagging yourself about your failures and mistakes. You will keep wishing you didn't go to that party or visit that person or made that decision. Indeed, things could have been different. Nevertheless, the deed has been done. So the only way you can make the best out of your life is to keep the lessons of your past but never keep the emotions. In other words, remember why you failed, but stop seeing yourself as a failure because you have had poor performances in the past. If you keep seeing things that way, you will never be able to prepare for future tests. The past cannot be changed. You cannot move on from the past and focus on the present if you don't realize that you cannot change the past. The truth is that it is gone forever. All you can do is to ensure that you make the best out of the present and your future. It is normal that you feel hurt when you made a mistake that cost you a golden opportunity. In the same way, you will also feel bad if you did something that ruined your relationship. However, you need to learn to forgive yourself and realize that you cannot undo what you have done. Besides, who says you cannot get an even better opportunity than the one you missed? Some people make statements like, opportunity comes but once, but it is not true. Life often presents us with better opportunities than the ones we have missed previously. Nonetheless, many people end up missing those chances again because they are not prepared for them. They were not ready because they were still thinking about their past failures. In the same way, it is not true that you cannot find a better lady or man than the one that broke up with you. Moreover, if a person truly loves you, he or she will be willing to overlook your mistakes and stick with you during your low moments. So the fact that that person broke up with you because of your mistakes can be a blessing in disguise in the long run. You might still find a person who will love you and stick with you come rain, come shine. Nonetheless, you will never be able to find such a person when you are still stuck in the past. You will not give better people the opportunity to win your heart again because you're still thinking about your ex. You cannot change the past. It is time to start over. In this video, we'll talk about dangers of getting stuck in the past. When you have refused to start over, you are endangering yourself in various ways. As earlier mentioned, it can make you lose sight of the opportunities around you. This chapter explores what you stand to lose when you're stuck in the past. Depression. According to the World Health Organization, depression is a leading psychological problem affecting millions of people around the world. Note that depression is different from the occasional mood swings we have because of an unpleasant event. Depression is more intense and persistent than that. When you are depressed, you will not want to talk to anyone. You will prefer to stay in your bed rather than go out and have social interactions. At that moment, everything in the world becomes colorless and tasteless to you. Note that depression can become fatal in the long run. It can lead to suicidal ideation. In other words, depression can make you feel like taking your own life. Meanwhile, you should never get to that point. There is nothing worth it in this world that should make you feel that taking your life is the best option. As long as you are still alive, you can still rewrite your story. No one is denying that you were hurt, but you cannot get stuck in the past. The price can be too costly. Guilt. Guilt can become a serious issue when you feel that you could have done things differently. It is that feeling you have when you're at fault. You wish you didn't make the choice that led to the disastrous outcome, and it is weighing down on you. According to Socrates, an unchecked life is not worthwhile. So it is normal that you think about your mistakes and learn from them so that you can be better prepared for future events. However, it is a problem when you cannot let go of the negative emotions you have from that experience. Note that you cannot separate guilt from depression. In other words, when you are feeling bad about yourself because of your past mistakes, you can eventually become depressed. Remember that depression can lead to suicidal thoughts. So you'll be doing yourself a lot of good by letting go of the past. It's good that you're not happy about your mistakes. Nevertheless, you need to move on. Shame. You can feel ashamed of yourself due to moral failure. For example, if you cheated on your partner, you might feel bad about that action for a long time, especially if that person broke up with you because of that. In the same way, you might feel ashamed if your personal sex clip was uploaded on social media. No one can deny that these situations will make you stigmatized for a while. Nonetheless, your story is not ended unless you decided to quit. It is noteworthy that no man can walk out of his own story. You have to end it somewhere, somehow. You can either choose to stand up and heal your wound or choose to be defined by your past mistakes. The truth is that there are people out there who are still willing to give you an opportunity to prove yourself. However, you will miss those opportunities when you keep thinking that you don't deserve to be loved and respected because of what you did in the past. Lack of focus. It is challenging to be focused when you are thinking about the past. You will struggle to make plans or set goals because you are still thinking about what could have been. This situation is common to people who were close to achieving something monumental, but it didn't work out eventually. So they feel that it is not likely they can get it right again. It's not true that you cannot achieve success again because things went south the last time. However, you need to be focused. Don't let a sour relationship make you a monster. Stop saying things like you can never love anyone like you loved your ex again. You're only reacting because you felt bad about the heartbreak. In the same way, you should not be lackadaisical in your attitude in your new job because your last boss treated you badly. You have a new opportunity to rewrite your story. Don't ruin it. Poor performance. You cannot be at your best when you're not emotionally stable. People going through heartbreaks often find it is difficult to perform at the same level they used to perform before the incident. When you allow the thoughts of your mistakes or a negative event in the past to keep coming at you, you will either be slow while executing a project or carry it out shabbily. Besides, you will not be present in the moment. You will just be doing things just to get by because you are emotionally disturbed. So the sooner you banish the memory of the past and focus on the present, the better for you. The demands of the modern world require that you are focused. If you are working with a ruthless boss, you'll be dismissed if you're not producing as expected. That will only make things worse for you. Low motivation. The importance of motivation cannot be overemphasized in any activity. You cannot perform at a high level when you're not inspired to work. When you refuse to move on and start over, you will not have the passion to give in your best. It can be disastrous when you are doing a job that requires meticulousness and attention to detail, like the medical profession. Your lack of focus and motivation can lead to a costly mistake that can ruin your career or put an indelible mark on it. It could also lead to litigations, which does not bode well for your reputation and brand image. So it is in your best interest to let go of the emotional entanglements and focus on the task at hand. Anxiety. Just like depression, anxiety is another psychological problem facing many people in the world. The advent of social media has made it the order of the day due to excessive exposure to traumatic events and insensitive comments. However, social media exposure is not the only source of anxiety in the world. You can also be anxious when you keep remembering your past mistakes. This anxiety can come especially when you're about to carry out a similar task. You might be scared that you will make mistakes again that will lead to another abject performance. Substance abuse. Many people, especially youths, turn to drugs and other substances like alcohol to relieve stress and anxiety. Depressed people also often abuse drugs and alcohol because they're trying to feel better. These substances might offer you short-term relief. However, they will take their toll on your physical and mental health in the long run. You can become addicted to them such that you will not be able to live a normal life unless you take alcohol. Once you get to that point, you are in trouble because you can become more violent and aggressive, which will affect your relationships. Physical illness. Whatever affects your mental health will eventually affect your physical health if you don't act fast. If you keep thinking about the past, you will become depressed. Meanwhile, when you're not in a good mood, you will develop poor eating habits and will not be motivated to work out. In the long run, you can fall sick due to your unhealthy practices. So you will not gain anything by being stuck in the past. The disadvantages and dangers of not starting over are more than the ones listed in this video course. These ones are highlighted so that you can realize that you have a lot to lose when you are stuck in the past. In this video, we'll discuss about why the past doesn't equal the future. You'll be stuck in the past when you think it has a vital role to play in your chances of future success. However, it is not true that you cannot thrive again because of your mistakes and past failures. The future promises a lot if only you are willing to let go of the past. This chapter examines why the past doesn't define the future of an individual. The past is a closed chapter. Treat your life like a book. Your experiences are previous chapters. The present moment is the chapter you are reading. In most cases, you don't go back to a chapter you've read. You only flip back to those pages when you have something you didn't get correctly. In some cases, you also flip back to that chapter when you find a similar concept in the current chapter. The implication of this is that you should only remember your past when you need to draw lessons from it. You will not make progress if you remain stuck in a chapter of a book and refuse to read on. In fact, you might find better explanations regarding a particular concept you find difficult to understand in the subsequent chapters. Life is like that. Sometimes you will not understand why some things happen the way they did until you forge ahead. For example, you might find out why your former boss treated you wrongly later. It could have been because of a jealous colleague. The person might have gone to lie about you to the boss, making the employer turn against you. You might still have an opportunity to take a better role in that organization if you choose to let go and focus on improving yourself. However, if you allow the situation to weigh you down, you might not be in the best position to be offered the role later. Don't worry too much about things you don't understand at the moment. They often become clearer over time. The future is a blank page. Remember that your life is like a story. Nothing is written in your future. However, you can start making concrete efforts to make your future more pleasant than your past through the decisions you make at the moment. One of the worst ways you can prepare for the future is to cling to the past. When you're not letting go of the past, you will not be able to see the future holds more opportunities for you. The rest of your life can be the best part of your life if you see it that way. The future is full of opportunities to rewrite your story and get things right. It is natural that you feel like hiding in your shell after a setback. You will not want to make mistakes again, and that can make you become more measured. There's nothing wrong with being careful. However, it is a problem when you have decided not to try again because you're afraid to fail. Your past isn't a determinant of your future. Rather, your past can act as a springboard for your future. If you have made a lot of good decisions in the past, you'll be more confident about handling some responsibilities in the future. Nonetheless, the fact that you've made mistakes does not mean you can make better decisions in the future. In fact, your mistakes make you more experienced. You now know what will work in some situations. The past is a shadow. The striking feature of a shadow is that it appears to be real, but it is not. It follows you wherever you go, but it doesn't contribute in any way to your life. The implication of this illustration is that you cannot deny your past. It will follow you for the rest of your life. You cannot banish the experience or the memories. However, you can decide what you will make of them. It would be ridiculous to be scared of your shadow or refuse to move forward because of a shadow. It's often funny in some situations when a child is so scared that he or she is running away from his or her shadow. You should also feel the same way if you're thinking that you cannot live a happy and fulfilled life because of your mistakes. Your past is just a shadow that lingers and casts darkness on some things around you. However, it does not determine what you can make out of your life. So, you'll be doing yourself a disservice if you refuse to move on from your past. That relationship is over. You've lost that job. Your best friend is dead. There's no doubt that these are situations that don't bring a good image whenever your mind drifts towards them. However, your future has more pleasant memories in store if you are willing to get over those disappointing memories of the past. The past doesn't define you. You should keep reminding yourself that your past doesn't define you. If you take your time to look at the people around you, you'll notice that there are those who've had setbacks but were able to turn their lives around. Even if you don't know someone like that, a simple internet search will help you in this regard. Besides, you'll still find some great examples in this video course. You can also have a great life worth celebrating, despite your challenges and disappointments. It doesn't matter whether you were the one that made mistakes or it was due to factors beyond your control. You can still get to the finish line and win your race. It's your race because it's your life, so you shouldn't be in an unhealthy competition with anyone. The reason some people are stuck in the past is that they feel that they've been left behind by their peers. This approach will only put unnecessary pressure on you. Learn to concentrate on yourself. If you become the best version of yourself, you'll eventually become better than many of your peers. However, you shouldn't focus on running a rat race. This is one of the issues people have when checking pictures of celebrities on social media. They see their friends who are now superstars, and they feel bad about their lives. You shouldn't compare yourself with other people. Indeed, there's nothing wrong with looking up to some people and learning from them. We all need people that can serve as inspirations to us and motivate us to achieve our goals. However, it is a problem when you start to feel worthless because you don't possess fancy cars and expensive gadgets. In this video, we'll discover about benefits of forging ahead. It's not likely that you'll commit to something when you are not sure about what you stand to gain by doing it. Forgetting about the past to start over has numerous benefits. This chapter will explore some of them to give you the impetus to start making changes that will give you a new lease of life. High self-esteem. Your self-esteem is a product of the way you see yourself. It will be low when you feel that you don't deserve to be loved and treasured. Note that you cannot separate self-esteem from self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the level of confidence you have in your ability to succeed in a task before you attempt it. It is vital that you have high self-efficacy because it makes others trust you to handle their projects in their behalf. You need to earn the trust of people before you can be given the opportunity to prove yourself. Meanwhile, the only way you can convince them that you can do the job is when you have confidence in your ability to get the job done. Even when you have the qualifications for a job, you'll still be doubted when you sound unsure about your chance of success in the task. Note that you cannot have high self-esteem when you are still stuck in the past. It is when you are ready to move on from your past that you will fancy your chance of succeeding again. If you can rate yourself to succeed in something you have failed in doing before, it shows that you are ready to banish the demons of your past. Prevention of depression. We all want to be happy, but many people are sad in this world. One of the reasons we have many unhappy people in the world is that many have refused to move on from their past. They are still thinking about a previous partner that broke up with them or the loss of a loved one. You cannot change what has happened, so you need to forge ahead. Note that happiness is a choice. The world is not designed to make you happy. In fact, there are many circumstances in a typical day that can ruin your mood if you allow them. An adage says that you cannot stop a bird from flying over your head, but you can prevent it from building a nest in your hair. In other words, you don't have total control over the circumstances that will present themselves to you. However, you can decide how you will react to them. If you keep thinking about the past, you will only become depressed in the long run. However, when you choose to start over, you will generate positive energy from the optimism of forging ahead. Healthy relationships. No one wants to be around people who keep complaining about their past. Such people are often grumpy and can spread negative emotions. So don't be surprised that people are avoiding you when you have a culture of reminding them about your past. They might sympathize with you initially. Nonetheless, they will start avoiding you when they realize that it is something you do a lot. Besides, it can affect your new relationship when you keep talking about your previous partner. So you need to learn to let go of the past and focus on the present to build healthy relationships. Only talk about your past when you want a person to learn something from it so that he or she will not make the same mistake you made. It's better that you talk about your mistakes and previous experiences when people ask you to tell them. Avoid raising such issues when no one is asking about them. You can ruin your mood and that of others with that approach. Seek the help of an expert on time if you notice that you are struggling to let go. You might need therapy to finally get yourself on track again. Finish strong. People will not care about your past if you can turn your life around. People like Abraham Lincoln and Oprah Winfrey had rough starts in life, but they were able to succeed all the same. Therefore, you can still finish strong if only you will not give up on yourself. The feeling of knowing that you didn't allow your past to define you is satisfying. You will be proud of yourself and will want anyone who cares to listen that they can still succeed regardless of the challenges they are facing. Remember that your life is not over until you breathe your last breath. So take the time to reflect on why you failed and stand up on your feet again. The finish line is still far off. Dust yourself off and start running again. You can still be celebrated and become an icon like the celebrities you know today. If you read about some of the superstars you admire, you will realize that they have scars they have refused to be the summary of their lives. You can take out time to read some biographies to draw inspiration. When you let go of the past and start over, you will eventually finish strong. Have a testimony. We all like to read about people who didn't allow their setbacks and mistakes to define them. What about you? The ball is in your court now. Will you abandon your dreams because your efforts are not yielding the kind of results you want? What will you tell your children? They may not say anything, but they know that you are only making excuses. So you can choose to be an inspiration for the future generation if you don't give up now. Let people read your story years later and find reasons not to give up on their dream. Indeed, it is easier said than done. However, you should not see backing down and giving excuses as options you should take. The world does not celebrate and remember people who gave up. It doesn't matter what you are doing. There have been people that have been in such situations and they didn't give up. So you need to let go of the past and start all over. Someone will need it someday. Someone will be grateful that you refused to back down later. Don't disappoint them. Dust yourself up and start fighting again to rise to the top.